Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul, Linda, Joyce.
Hi.
John, how's it coming with the couple that wants to be married?
Somehow or another, they got an appointment with somebody down in the right place and they got a license. It's going to happen on Friday.
Good.
And since the bishop is allowing 5 people, they're actually going to do it together as opposed to everybody in separate places. So that'll eliminate any legalities with it. And then they're going to Zoom all their friends in from all over the country. Their entire invite list is going to be attending by Zoom.
That's fantastic.
It'll be good. I've got to walk away for a couple of minutes. I'll be back.
Sure. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Joyce, how's your husband doing?
Well, he is coming home this Friday.
Oh.
And he will need speech therapy and physical therapy at home. And then probably when he gets a little better, he'll go to the physical therapy gym. So he's happy. In fact, he said, is it tomorrow that I come home? So he's happy
not easy
to be able to come home soon.
Good.
Good. Hello, Bishop.
Hello, Bishop.
Hello, how are you guys? Joyce, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Arnold will be home Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have the help you're going to need?
I have an appointment to talk to the social worker tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
And then I'll know.
Okay. All right. Good. If there's anything I can do to be helpful, let me know.
Okay.
That I'm so glad he's getting to come home, but that's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
My daughters have bought this adult monitor, so wherever he is, I'll have the monitor there so I can see him on my phone.
Okay.
Oh, good.
All right. All right.
And a bell.
Okay. A bell?
Right. He can wear around his neck even. No,
Okay.
I don't know if he'll do all of these things, but
Oh, Joyce.
Oh, my goodness.
we're trying hard to be ready.
Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Let's see who all's here. Hi, friends.
Hello.
Oh,
Let's see. Okay, John Connors is I think he was raptured. Okay. John, that's a bad look. Thank you. Hey, Karen, how are you? Good. Andrea, when do you announce the winner for the scholarship?
It's going to be, I think, a week from Thursday.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And how much money is the scholarship?
It's $1,000, one-time, non-renewable.
Right.
Yeah. So I can't believe it's been 4 years. It's really cool to, we have them write an essay about diversity and about how their own lives have been enhanced by it. And it's really cool to see every year the things that the people say.
And where are the applicants? What's the pool?
So it's people at Clinton High School out here where we live, and Maria went to school. So their classes are about, I would say, 80 to 90 kids in a class.
Okay. All right. In a graduating class.
In a graduating class, yes, yes, yes.
Like, I mean, you know, that for Chicago public schools, sometimes that might be a classroom.
Right, exactly. No, it's a very small school, and I don't know, it's this year's winner is a non-binary person, and they talked a lot about how it's just hard on the one hand for people to like see you and notice you, but on the other hand, there's no place to hide, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of like a both and problem.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Right. A little bit better. I don't know. You'd think after all these months, I would have perfected how I want my computer and phone, but no, I haven't. So, Ellen is with us. Ellen Evevag. I'm gonna, let's see, if you go to speaker view, and then I think we'll get Ellen talking in a second. You might be able to find her. I'm not sure how to isolate her without without you guys doing speaker view at some point. But Ellen is here, and we've got a good chunk of folks here. So. How about I'll start with prayer, and we'll see how many people the prayer brings us, and we'll go from there. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
With you.
Thank you. Oh, gracious God. In you we live and move and have our being. And wow, I, for one, God, am tired of all of this. And I realize that I am safe, mostly. And I am just so aware of those who are not, of people who are out daily risking their lives and making our world happen. So, gracious God, I ask that you hold them, keep them safe, that everyone they interact with is gracious to them, and that we may, in the midst of this time, breathe and know that you are our God and that we're not alone in the midst of this, and give us steadfastness to keep going bit by bit, day by day, morning by morning. In your blessed name, we pray. Amen. All right, Eric thinks I can spotlight Ellen. Eric thinks I'm better at this than I do. Eric, how am I going to do that, sir? Unmute you.
Oh.
There you go. You're muted again.
Okay. I'm not sure where it is on your controls, but I think there is a way under maybe participants to spotlight.
Oh, right, right.
If you,
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna, yeah.
So Bishop, I think if you go to Ellen's screen and the three dots in the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, aren't you good? You guys are awesome.
Find it there.
All right, let's see what I can do here.
You'll at least find pin video where you could pin her.
Right, all right, so very good. Let's see.
I can just start talking too, hopefully. That would be the easiest thing to do.
Thank you. That was really fun. It's always good to watch me fumble and to have new days of absurd Zoom calls, of which I do have this longing to just have a bloopers reel of this with people continually saying, no, do this, that'll work. You guys, this is Ellen Evevag. Ellen is the co-rector at Emmanuel Church in LaGrange, Illinois, which is in the suburbs of Chicago. She's also the associate for ministry on our diocesan staff, and she's a trainer for the College for Congregational Development. And Ellen always has some wisdom, and usually says it in a way that I can hear it. So I really appreciate that. And so I think she might have some pieces for us right now. So the idea is, again, 20 minutes presentation, 20 minutes small groups. I've got a couple of questions, and then 20 minutes come back and have conversation. I do not have any particular announcements today. I feel like we are in the middle of the middle of the middle. So I don't have anything compelling. So, but we've got Ellen. And so Ellen, if you would be compelling, it's got to be better than me. And I know you will be.
Okay, yes. So what I'm going to do is, because Zoom takes a village, is share my screen with you, because I have fancy slides for today.
I spotlight you.
Oh, did you spotlight me? That's so fancy. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone, hopefully it's loading. Can everyone see the slides? I'm going to get a verbal yes, because I can't see anybody.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So also in my spare time, I'm trying to get my certificate in the field of organization development at Benedictine University. For those of you who don't know, organization development is a field of study that's about leadership, organizational change and design. And as it turns out, like, people have done studies about how to do this in ways that make it easier. You can follow models. It gives you clues, things I wish someone would have taught me in seminary, as it would have saved me heartache and nights of sleep. So when the shelter-in-place order began, I sort of turned to my organization development studies to find a sense of comfort and a sense of control. And so I began to do research around how to create agile and resilient organizations during a trauma. So that's what this presentation is about. So what I'm hoping to do with this presentation is that it will affirm that your instincts are correct, that you are awesome, and that you have been doing all the right things, and also then provide sort of a framework for us to begin to think about what it means to be clergy and leaders in the church during this time. As I'm going through the slides, if you will just chat any questions that you have, I will look at them while we're in small groups. And if I'm going too fast, I can't see anybody, so I'll need like a verbal slow down, or Ellen, we have lost you, or some kind of verbal flare gun of some sort. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So we're going to be talking about, what does leadership look like right now when we're in the midst of the pandemic? And trauma here is defined as a collective stress situation occurring at a community level that leads to major unwanted consequences. That's the definition of trauma that we're thinking about in this context. So I feel like this picture sort of illustrates where we are. Now, a lot of the literature around how to deal with organizations in the midst of trauma deal with natural disasters, like an earthquake, it begins and it ends, or a tornado, etc. But as many of you, I'm sure, have noted and have noted in this group, in the collective wisdom, that in the pandemic, we're going to be in the midst of this trauma for a while, right? Until we find a treatment or a vaccine. We're sort of, I feel like, hanging between like the old normal and the new normal. And while there's a lot of talk, I think you guys have probably seen the articles around, you know, what is the church going to look like and the new normal? We kind of have a while. So my question is how do we get our churches ready to meet the new normal? In other words, how do we use this moment to make them, to create more agile and resilient communities of faith, so they can meet and adapt to whatever is going to come, even though we don't know quite what that is? So I found a model. So what is a model? A model is a lens. It's not the end-all, be-all. It doesn't answer every question. This is just, what I'm going to present to you is one tool, probably one tool of many. And as I said in the beginning, a good congregational development model is going to affirm your instincts and then help provide a framework so that you can more intentionally think about your design, your leadership, things that you want to do at your church. Hope that makes sense. So here is the model. So I found this article based off Hofball and other around the 5 essential elements of immediate and midterm mass trauma intervention. And he gives 5 evidence-informed leadership interventions, that is, things to do during a trauma, so we can create more agile and resilient organizations. And when I was going through the literature, my hunch was that these interventions also align with our beliefs and theology. So the 5 essential elements of mid and post-trauma interventions are to promote safety, promote calm, promote self and collective efficacy, which means that someone can do the thing they're asked to do, or a group or community can do the thing they're asked to do, promote connectedness, and to promote hope. And what I liked about this model, well, I kind of created the visual, but what I liked about these whole ideas is this word promote, because it seems proactive and doable. For example, I cannot make someone calm, but I can promote calm, right? I cannot make someone do something, but I can promote self and collective efficacy. So what I'm going to do briefly is go through each element and then provide possible interventions. So the interventions are things that we could do to promote these elements. And these interventions are not meant to be absolute. They're just meant to get the conversation going and to get our own brains sort of thinking about how we might use this in our own ministries. Again, you know what works for your place. You know the needs of the people of your place. So it's just to start thinking about how might this help you provide a framework or your vestry framework for how you move forward during this time. So let's begin with the first one, promote safety. When I think about safety, I think about the Good Shepherd, Psalms, of course, in our morning prayer liturgy, for only in you can we live in safety. So how do we promote a sense of safety? This includes information and communication, leaders articulating an organized voice to help describe the threat and our response, And the clarity of voice will increase the perception of safety among your people. That's really interesting. So clarity, being clear and keeping things simple is important to promote safety.
Say that one more time, Ellen.
Sure. So clarity, the clarity of voice, trying to keep things simple and clear, promote a sense of safety among your people. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So possible interventions. So create and present simple and clear guidelines for each phase of reentry. Present a simple and clear plan for how to prepare for each phase of reentry. Those are probably things I'm sure the diocese is working on and others. Resource the people so that they can directly participate in their own and other safety. Cultivate a unified voice from clergy and lay leadership, and create meaning behind the guidelines where you can. For example, these guidelines are there to keep each other safe, and we can do it together. So as I'm going through this, you're going to see in each element is connected with another one. So for here, for promoting safety, you can see that it's linked with connectedness, as in when you provide meaning behind the guidelines, and it is promoted with self and collective efficacy in that we keep each other safe. So the model is meant to be dynamic. It's not just one individual that you sort of lift out. It's how can we promote all these things, maybe even with just one intervention at a time, so they relate to one another. To promote calm, I was just thinking of the scriptures that make me feel calm. Be still and know that I am God, and come to me all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So how do we promote calm and equip people to deal with individual and collective anxiety, fear, and worry? So even we can continue to expect high emotionality to continue, especially during periods of trauma. So how do we promote calm? We need to lean into our rich traditions of prayer and worship, formation programs, and opportunities for people to develop personal prayer practices, and providing times when people can express themselves and their feelings. What's interesting with this one is that in the research, and actually in the literature around this, is that prayer is continually mentioned again and again, which I think speaks to its power, and also I think gives at least me a sign that the church really does have some work that it needs to do. It has something to say to this moment and a way to resource people. So what could interventions to promote calm look like? Formation programs around prayer and prayer practices. In preaching and writing, normalize people's experience and reactions to what is happening. That is a main way to promote calm, is to normalize what people are feeling. Provide opportunities for people to learn about their emotional response and how to manage their anxiety. Use liturgy to promote a sense of predictability and groundedness. When appropriate, foster positive emotions, including humor, interest, and contentment, and to embrace simplicity. So even if you're thinking about your terms of your communications or what it looks like over Zoom, use calming colors, or try to keep things in your written communication as organized and simple as possible. So the next is to promote self and collective efficacy. And of course, I thought about biblical perseverance in that sense that, you can do it kind of thing. So efficacy is having confidence in oneself or community's ability to perform a specific task in a specific situation. So the higher the self-efficacy, the greater level of persistence and resilience in individuals and communities. So the more the people think they can do the thing that they need to do, the more resilient they're going to be, the more persistent they're going to be. So you got to provide people with the skills to overcome the threat and solve problems. And people must be able to do what is asked of them. If they do not have the resources or capabilities, this will lead to demoralization, right? So when we're promoting self and collective efficacy, you want to make sure the people can do the thing that you are asking them to do, because they have both the resources and the capability. So what might interventions look like? Provide opportunities for individuals to have meaningful roles and contribute when re-entering. So basically delegate, delegate, delegate. You know, we're going to be sort of changing and then freezing that change and then changing again. So give people stuff to do. Who's going to be the person to count the people? Who's going to be the person to put the antibacterial in the pews or whatever it is? People are looking for something to do, any kind of role. So the more you can delegate stuff out and have them be proactive in that, that'll create and promote self and collective efficacy. Provide forums for people to share experiences and stories. Intentionally communicate unity of purpose. For example, our goal is to keep each other uplifted, and this is how you can help. So in my context, my church that I currently serve, they've never really been all that connected to each other. And so at the very beginning, the vestry and we created this unity of purpose, that we were going to come out of this more connected than when we went in. And so we began to give people resources and form small groups and yada, yada, so that they could have, it was clear about our unity of purpose. We're going to stay connected. We're going to become more connected. And then we gave them the tools so that they could do that. Create small and winnable goals and celebrate small wins. Empower people to undertake their own recovery and manage their own anxiety. And encourage participation in decision-making through clear processes. So in the beginning of a crisis, people want to be told directly what to do. As the trauma goes on, people either want to be included in that decision-making process or at least know how that process, how that decision was made. What was the process that, or who was advised to make said decision? So if you can be transparent about that, that would be great. And just remember, whatever you ask, just make sure people can do the thing you are asking. I want to say one more thing about this unity of purpose piece, which is in the beginning of the trauma, and the literature talks about this a little, and the unity of purpose is usually internal, as in how do we stay connected or how do we keep each other safe. As a trauma goes on, it is perfectly appropriate for that unity of purpose to then shift to sort of an external goal or mission or purpose. So this is not necessarily a terrible time to think about if you wanted to do redevelopment in your place, to do it. It is during these kinds of times that the system is usually most open to change. So you could think about, what is our mission now, right? What is the why of our church in this new reality? To sort of work about your unity of purpose. That will also promote self and collective efficacy. Promote connectedness. I think we've all been doing this just instinctually. And of course, here, connectedness is defined as a sustained attachment to one another. Social support is an important protective factor for those who experience trauma. Boosting and protecting community members' ability to help and care for others is therefore essential. So you can see here how connectedness is also linked with self and collective efficacy. So how do we do that? Probably stuff we have all been doing and we should all feel awesome about. Phone calls, visits to check in with individuals and families, small groups created, encouraged, and supported, healing and mourning liturgies and rituals for all ages, commemorative events such as memorial services and anniversaries to mark losses should be held. When appropriate, focus on volunteerism to bring people together to harness energy, creativity, and sense of control of what they can create together. And identity statements that communicate unity of purpose clearly and simply. Who are we right now? So a colleague of mine actually used the identity statement to work on the connectedness of her parish. And so when this first happened in the shelter in place, her vestry and her got together and they created this identity statement. We stay connected, we stay church, we take care of each other. And sort of these are our identity statements to meet this moment. And they're very specific for her place. So that's how that might work. Okay, I know I'm kind of rushing through this, but I don't know how much time I have left. I'm going to keep going until I hear otherwise. Okay.
So you can go a little bit slower And what I'm going to do is have the slides sent to everyone by the time they get into their small groups. But I'm not able to get your little PDF to transfer over to my assistant. I've sent them like 7 times now. So anyway, you keep going, but I'll get slides to everybody. You'll have them to reference soon.
Yes, and I will make sure to also get you the PowerPoint so that I want this to be usable for you. And so you will have the slides and you can, you know, do what you want with them to make them helpful for your people in your place. So finally, we're going to promote hope. Of course, we are people of hope. And in organization development, the interesting thing is that there's a whole field of research around hope. And in this research of hope, they define hope as being connected with self and collective efficacy. So they define it as the action-orientated expectation that a positive outcome is possible. So it's that hope is created when we're working toward a positive outcome together. Now there's other research, one author in particular named Evevag, who says that that definition really only works for upper white middle class people. So, and he just says basically hope is based on belief and trust in God. So I think, you know, we can think about hope in a variety of ways. Regardless, I think, and I know deep in my heart that the church has something to say about hope during this moment. I think we have an important message to give the world. Okay. Promote hope. So, possible interventions. Reinforce the church's values, clearly articulate hope as a value. So the clarity around our values, well, especially if they're positive values, right, increase hope, right? So even having your churches work on what really are our values right now in this moment, if you can articulate those as clearly as you can, use them in identity statements, that is going to in itself help promote hope. Preach and write about hope and its role in the Christian life. Provide processes for people to prepare and plan for the future, right? So don't be afraid to be asking your people to do that. They want something to do, right? They want to feel productive in this moment. Encourage individuals and groups to pursue achievable goals. And of course, something we've probably all been doing to make meaning of the current moment. So I wanted to give you an example of what it looks like to promote the 5 elements. And I've been doing sort of a at-home survey as I've been watching all the governors. And someone who promotes the 5 elements every day is the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, which if you haven't watched him, you should. He is a delight and it makes me feel human every time I watch him. He's delightful. So this was his first, communication with everybody when the shelter in place and the pandemic sort of started. So it was the 10 steps to fight COVID-19. So clearly I want to just show you, in terms of safety, right, the guidelines are very clear. It's a calming and pleasing presentation. It actually, in the guidelines, gives them something to do. It promotes self and collective efficacy, right? So they can themselves practice social distance. As a community, they can report noncompliance. And it gives them, within the guidelines, how they do that. Where do they go to do that, right? How do they prioritize their mental health, right? It gives them the resources and capabilities to do that, or at least begins to. And connected, you can see it says Team Kentucky. So he's always been working towards this sense that we're all in this together. You can see his hashtags at the bottom. At his press conference, he sort of highlights whatever people have done on Twitter that day that are promoting whatever he's trying to do and to connect everybody from all over the state. And with hope, it's that we're working towards this better future. Also, he's created this symbol in Kentucky where everyone has green filters over their life as a sort of a symbol of hope and compassion with those who have lost loved ones or who are working on the front line. So that is just kind of one example of what it looks like to promote the 5 elements. At this point, I hope that you're feeling like your instincts have been affirmed and you're like, I've sort of intuitively known all this my whole life. Yes, this is true. And also, I want you to be able to use this in a way that's helpful for you and for your place. So how might you use this model? And again, these are not absolutes. This is just to begin the conversation and to get us thinking and brainstorming about how to use this. So you could teach it to your vestry and brainstorm ideas about how to promote each element. When planning things to do, think about how to enhance what you're doing so that it promotes one or more of the elements. You can use it as a tool or a framework, like in your head, when you're thinking through your leadership and your communications and about how you want to move forward. You can also use it as a framework to help you to recalibrate your role and what you do as a priest during the mass trauma of the pandemic. And honestly, this is how I began to use this model for myself, because so much of what we normally do, we can't do in this moment. And as I was talking to a lot of my colleagues, everybody was feeling that. I felt like this is a helpful framework to think this is actually the ways that I can be proactive and do my role as a leader and a priest in this moment. Be intentional and communicate about what you are doing and why you're doing it. So it can help you just to sort of be clear of mind, to sort of be more intentional as you move forward. So here's just one idea of a million of how you could use this. It could be done individually, in a leadership team, vestry, small groups, or depending on the size of your congregation. You now have the technology, and you will have the PowerPoint if you don't already, to teach the 5 elements of leadership during trauma. And you can incorporate the scriptures that work for your community, or whatever touchstones those are. You can list in small groups or together what you're already doing and which principles you're promoting. This helps you to kind of see, are we hitting all of them? Are we hitting some of them and not all of them? You can brainstorm new ideas and place them within your framework to ensure all 5 principles are being addressed. You can prioritize what's the next important intervention and plan for its implementation. But you can think about, what do people really need right now? Like, do they need safety? Do they need calm? What do they need? Think about your context and what do your people need most right now. And don't be afraid to receive feedback during this time on how people are experiencing leadership and what the church is doing in general. Finally, this model, although it has good leadership principles, the model itself is not meant to be a forever model. It's for during a trauma. And its goal is to create organizations that can become more agile and resilient in the future. If they can work on these things, then they're going to be more able to meet the moment. And it's one lens out of many for how we minister and live into the new normal. And that is all. That is the end of the presentation.
Awesome, Ellen. Thank you. And
sorry, it was a lot to get through. I felt like I was rushed. I didn't mean to rush. If I did rush, I'm sorry, everybody.
So Beth is going to, as soon as Ellen sends me another copy of the PDF, because the one you sent me is not transferring for whatever reason. So send me another copy of the PDF. And as soon as we do, as soon as Ellen sends me that, we'll send it off. Beth Rowley will send it out to all of you and you'll have it. In the meantime, I'm going to break us up into small groups. Here are the questions I thought you guys might want to contemplate. So super easy here. In what ways does this model affirm what you've already been doing? So how have you already been awesome? Secondly, how might you use this model to inform your planning for the next couple of months? You know, I kind of see this as all kind of phase 2 stuff. So how does this affirm what you've been doing? Looking at that pentagon. And then how might you use this to think about what you're going to do for the next couple months? All right. And Ellen, if you send that off to me, and then.
Did you want the PowerPoint or the PDF? I'm sorry, Bonnie.
Send me the PowerPoint.
Okay. Let me do that.
All right. And so I'll break us up. And let's see. Breakout rooms. And we're going to do. Okay. All right. There we go for about, 20 minutes, friends. And Ellen, you know what? Actually send it to, I'll text you her email address, okay? And that's just going to be quicker than sending it to me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and I'm just gonna B as in Bonnie, Rowley, ROWLEY at edomi.org. B Rowley at edomi.org.
Yep, I just sent it.
Yay! Thank you.
Okay, let me look at these questions here.
So, Andrea Morrow's got a good one. You might want to talk about.
I can talk to that.
All right. And you might just, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to wing you into her room. And the other ones, I feel like we're a lot of, can we have these slides? Can we have these slides?
And Bill seems to have a good one here. I can address that too.
Who is that? Bill who?
Bill Danaher.
Oh,
Dana.
Yep.
I can address that as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Where's Andrea Morrow? There she is. Okay. So I'm going to send you to breakout 13. Oh, wait, or did we wind up in a group? All right, Dar, I'm going to send you to another group. Okay. You find our group. That's hilarious. I'm not very good at this. Okay, Ellen. Where's Ellen? Not joined. Okay, move to 13. There you go. Bye.
Okay. So who was it? Okay, Andrea. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and Dar, let's see.
Yep.
Did you go, Ellen? Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. Dar, not joined. Okay. All right, Dar. Okay. All right, bye. All right, let's see. Who else? Hi there. Look, it's us again. You're muted.
Yep, here we are.
Should we mute our screens and then you can call me and tell me about this thing? All right.
I'm on mute. I'm back now. I can't hear you. You're on mute too.
Like that you were just delighted with your entire being doing it. She said, I don't know. So friends, we're back. And I can spotlight Ellen if I can find her. Let's see.
Everybody back?
All right. Let's see. Ellen. Hey, Ellen. There you are. All right. Look at that. And now I spotlight video. All right. There we go. So friends, questions for Ellen. Thoughts. Unmute yourselves and go for it. Anyone? Bueller?
They're like, we hate this and we don't know why you invited her on.
No.
I will
That's
say
what they're all
thank you
thinking.
very
It's
much.
okay.
Yes, very grateful. Very grateful.
Yeah.
Dense information. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
It's going to
Very
take
dense, very helpful.
Yeah.
take a while to kind of absorb it and figure out where I am with that, but it really helps to have a model, something there in print to be making sense of and to take all the pieces toward.
Yeah. I mean, what maybe I can share this. What drove me is I think I shared this in one of the breakout rooms, was I had all these colleagues who were just, I don't know, feeling like they weren't doing enough or that they weren't doing the right thing, or just suffering from a lot of like self-doubt and not sure what to do. And as I was talking, I was like, it sounds like you're doing all the right things. And I really was like, there has to be research out there about some kind of model that would work just in terms of how we live in this. I mean, I use crisis and trauma kind of interchangeably, but the trauma in that we have a changing situation that's constantly going to be changing into unwanted consequences in one way or another. Right? Like we're gonna have to unfreeze what we've been doing, change it, and then refreeze. And then with each phase, we'll have to unfreeze and then change and refreeze. We're gonna be constantly going through this like consistent little changes. How do we, I don't know, keep ourselves just as leaders and clergy, like we are, this is kind of, it's been helpful for me just to have a framework in my head as I'm thinking through how do I be priest right now?
Yeah.
What does my community need?
So it occurs to me that if there's, if we're calling this crisis and trauma, and we're doing this back and forth entry freeze, change, that there's also going to be maybe something like PTSD. Like a number of my parishioners are like, I don't know how I'm going to go back out in public again. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So that's going to be a piece of what we're thinking about as well. I think, how does it look? How do we live into it? How do we keep the waters calm enough without them being completely stagnant,
And like, how do we garner our own spiritual resources? When I meant by resourcing people, like how do we give people the spiritual, sometimes if we even have it in our toolkit, like psychological resources to deal with how each person is handling it? How do we just, minister in that? That makes sense.
And then I would just add one last thing. How do we take care of ourselves too?
And how do we take care of ourselves?
Right.
Yep. I like the idea of getting my vestry team on board with this model. I want to think about it a little bit, but to say, okay, this is the lens we're going to look at things. And my anecdote about this is when I got my first draft agenda for our Bishops' Committee meeting right after this all happened, the Bishops' Committee meeting agenda looked like every other agenda. And I was like, no, we are in a pandemic.
I know mine's worried about cutting the grass.
Right, exactly. This is not business as usual.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, this is going to be business as usual. And, who cares about the lawn or, whatever. So if I can get my core leadership on the same page, that these are the things we're going to attend to, then we can spread that out, especially my understanding of trauma and you know, family systems and all that sort of stuff is being calm, you know, just be calm. And you can work through conflict that way. You can work through all sorts of stuff that way if, you know, if the leadership is calm. And then I rant somewhere else.
Right. It's, yeah, non-anxious presence does not mean that you're not anxious, right? It just means you can manage your own anxiety.
Right.
It's important to know that, right?
And direct it in the right, yeah.
Right.
Ellen, this is Sarah Hurlbert. I don't know where I know you. I'm not sure where from. This is, I know your name and I'm knowing
I'm trying to find you right now, but I can't because I'm on the spotlight. So I'm
That's all right. That's all right.
Squares.
So anyway, but one of the things that a couple of things that I responded to, I appreciated the word promote, because, you know, we as leaders, especially right now, I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, you know, and my vestry sat down, we sat down last week and unpacked the letter in a special meeting, and we're trying to figure out what this looked like and deal with it emotionally. And so we got some initial thoughts together, like, okay, we're going to energize our teams and we're going to start working on this problem and everything. And how do we get back in? And one of our big issues is that we have no internet connectivity or, you know, wiring and stuff like that in our sanctuary, which is the oldest part of our church. So I'm thinking, okay, we'll get our tech team to look at this and start, you know, doing it. And so I sent them this excited email, and I need you guys to start thinking about this, and we really want to have this connectivity by the time so we can do live feed, And the answer I got back the next day was, no. And, you know, at first I was like, wait, what do you mean no? What do you mean? And they are, and then I took a step back, and these are all my young families. Mm-hmm. And they were probably ready to punch me in the mouth when they saw that email that I sent. So stepping back and saying, okay, I had my feelings hurt for about 24 hours. Then I said, wait, this is not about me. This is about them. This is everything that they're doing and trying to deal with. So we'll take another run at it in a different way this coming week, and ask them maybe in a different way. But it was just so shocking and funny to have the answer basically come back, nope, not doing it. Yeah. So anyway.
So I had somebody who has kids tell me today that she believes that the month of June will be 800 days long.
You're on mute again.
Other thoughts, friends?
This is Paul from Group 13. And I just want to let you know, Ellen, that your goal of affirming us that we've been doing the right things has been accomplished. Good. And by having this 5-point plan, I guess, that you presented for us, is going to help us so that we're not accidentally doing the right things. We'll actually have a plan to build on in order to intentionally make the decisions we're going to be making in the future. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, friends?
I have something I would like to ask, if that's okay.
Yes, please, Manisha.
I'm Manisha. I don't know if you can find me, Ellen, but so I too was very grateful for the word promoting things as opposed to making it happen. I thought that was really helpful. I actually loved all 5 of them. Particularly enjoying the idea of promoting calmness and promoting hope. I wondered about an addition, and my curiosity is about is creating space to tell the truth, which can look not very positive. So promoting authenticity, promoting reality, or something like that, promoting honesty. You know, what does that look like in the church? Where do we give, lament too, Beth? Yes, absolutely. That vision of like, you know, I think I need a place, just like everybody else, to just say, holy fucking shit, and
over.
everything that goes along with that. So that's my query.
Yeah. I find truth telling very hopeful, even if it's bad truth sometimes. But I think it also connects us because you're usually not the only one feeling it. Don't you think? And I think it leads to safety if people know that you're being honest.
This is Cindy Corner from St. Michael's and All Angels. And in our group, I was in group 10, we talked about how in the past, many people have come to church pretending everything's okay, not wanting anyone else to know what is wrong or what they might need. And this is an opportunity for us to be church's way church should be. Church should be the place where you can show your warts and know you're still loved. And so I think the authenticity part is an important piece of it. And also the lament. We have lost a lot. And if we don't let people grieve, they're not going to be able to hope.
Well
said. Clifton here. Authenticity is great. The lamenting is great. I hope I'm catching the drift of it because it's something that's very real here, not only at St. Clement's but in Inkster too, with older congregation, a Black congregation. The newer people that have come into the congregation have been poorer congregation. They make us a poorer congregation. But here throughout the city, here in many of the congregations, not only this Episcopal Church, but other Christian gatherings here in the city of Inkster, it's almost as if there's a feeling of that the United States is practicing selective genocide on some of her own citizens. Right now, we're living in a time where people, here we go, I'm 67, and I'm one of the youngest persons in this congregation, okay? And I'm in this congregation with people that raised me from childhood. I came into St. Clement's when I was 5. And I'm looking at these same people who've taught me and have been lifelong friends and companions and mentors to me, listening to them expressing their fear that all of our life we've been told to trust the doctor or trust this person or trust that person. And now we're being told by the most powerful person in the country, don't trust them. And we're being how not to trust. We have Lily Brock, well, I shouldn't mention her name. This one lady in the congregation is afraid now to eat pork because in the pork processing plants, in Iowa, over 1,000 people tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. And her thing is that since there could be possible animal to human transmission, she says, and others are saying too, we know that the heat will kill the germs, but when we're handling the raw meat, can we get COVID from the raw meat? And there's such a chaotic strain of thought that is beginning to happen and go around that I guess one of my roles and the role of this church for a little bit of time will be just providing a place where somebody can come and vent and say these things, express this chaotic fear that they have, that they never would have at any other time and won't in any other place. Just a place where they can do this and feel safe in doing it. Does that make sense? I hope it did.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
And Black folks are scared. You gotta know. Black folks are scared when you believe that your government is practicing selective genocide on people that look like us, like people that look like me.
Yeah. And I think it makes sense to be scared, Clifton.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anybody else?
There's so much grief.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much grief and loss. I think somehow we need help. We need to be able to bring that to the surface and deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, and Terry Pilarski, I'm thinking of you now. But I wonder what a diocesan service of lament might look like.
We could work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Clifton, what that might look like. Lament and, you know, and hope, but I wonder what that might look like. I don't know what the timing on it is. But Henny, as I'm listening to you, and Clifton, as I'm listening to you, Alice, what I'm thinking is that it probably needs to happen sooner rather than later. And I kept kind of thinking, oh, maybe farther down or something, and I don't know exactly when that is. But it seems like sooner rather than later.
You know, I think lament is a great theological word for us, but the word that comes to my mind is a service of sorrow. That it, you know, we're just and that we have, in a sense, a political component to it. That in part, yeah, my congregation and others may have losses. We all have some losses, but I think Ellis is so correct about how this is you know, nobody, it's a genocide if you call it that, and that the sorrow is not only sort of the personal losses, but what kind of country are we living in, or what sort of state are we living in that this is happening.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the depths to which our country has sunk are just appalling.
I think if we had a
Unbelievable.
service of sorrow, we would also, might be helpful to include some things that we could do. Because I think sorrow, it can be such a hopeless feeling, but if we're left with something we can do to alleviate that sorrow, that would be hopeful.
Well, I was just thinking the service of lament of sorrow needs to end in hope and calm and confidence and direction to go forward.
You mean kind of like Holy Week?
Yeah.
No, we can't stay stuck in Lent.
Well, it's not like we've had Easter. You know?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So, friends, let me know who wants to play. Let me know who wants to be a part of this, and let's get as many different people as possible involved. And let's really be looking at who's being affected, and let's make sure we get everybody's voice in the midst of this and contemplate. Vicki, Terry, I don't mean to completely throw you under the bus there. But if there are folks who are thinking about that this might be something they'd want to work on, I would, and we'll do a y'all come to everyone, lay and clergy. I'd love to see what we could do.
And can I ask where the COVID relief fund is at?
The COVID relief fund is really close.
Like how close?
Like, I don't know exactly how close. I think it's within a couple, $3,000.
Okay. So I want to throw this out just before we go. I also think we need to figure out a way to make this a public event.
Oh, it's going to be. I've been I've been planning that I spent 2 hours planning that and 3 on Friday, and there's no way, Carol, that we're going to have $200,000 and we're not going to make this a big old public event.
No. I meant whatever the service of sorrow is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like on the street somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely.
This-
Hey, looks like Karen's interested.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm interested.
Send.
The amount is $98,835.
Is this something we could invite other faiths to be part of also? Because we're not the only ones suffering.
Is this, you mean for the service?
The
Yes.
service.
Of course.
Bishop, if I can add in too, when I spoke impassionately, and there was that I guess a racial component or an Inkster component to what I was saying. But when you listen to what the fullness of the conversation, when Larry Starks was talking to me, he says, what we're talking about is a selective genocide against old people because they don't want to pay Social Security, or they don't want to pay retirement anymore. They're talking about selective genocide against gay people, against Black folks, against Latinos, against. He had this whole laundry list of people.
Native Americans.
Yes. Definitely, definitely. And so what we're talking about then is if we're going to do this service. An opportunity not for people to come in and sympathize with the others that are suffering this, but recognizing our connectiveness and giving an opportunity for all of us to. I believe it's necessary for us to express our collective anger or dismay about it.
Yep.
To express our collective sorrow for what's been going on, to lament, to decry the situation, and then a collective hope that relies on each other through Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yep. Right on.
Yes,
I'll shut up now.
No. You can keep preaching. Ron Bird, you have something to say there, sir?
No, I was just telling Ellis, thank you for sharing that, because the sentiment is from the Black community, yes, thank you for your sympathy, but we need your empathy.
Yes.
And not about what we keep saying. We know this, what's going on with COVID-19 and the way it's affected people of color. And I can tell you the Office of Black Ministries, along with my fellow missioners, we're going to be coming out with some resources very shortly around the same thoughts that you all are putting forward today. But it's what we do. And how do we change? Because America hasn't just recently sunk bad. It's just been revealed. The light has been put on it. So that's all. So COVID has just brought to light to many of the injustices and inequalities and inequities that have long existed. And so, yes, thank folks for their sympathy, but we need people to put themselves in the shoes of people that walk this journey every day, and maybe they can change. So I just wanted to thank Ellis for sharing that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. Thank you.
One other thing, a couple of other things just to be aware of and to look at that as attention starts to focus away from COVID, it's still going to be back on COVID, because we're going to find out a whole lot of other injustices that were perpetrated on people and ignored because of our attention on COVID. So as clergy, as pastors, as prophetic voices of our community, our job is going to go on as people who are activists for social justice. Our job is going to be there before us for a long time.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. And what we have is the opportunity right here and now, friends, is to completely land in a different place when we come through this. We have the ability to incarnate something different and not be the same places that went off the cliff.
And that's the hope.
And that is my hope and my determination. So, and with that, I'm going to honor our time. If you want to work on this service, Ellis, Ron, Terry, Karen, other folks who have written to me, if you want to work on this service, send me an email. If you don't, I might send you an email. So Emily, lots of other people said they were interested, Judith and Beth. So let's see it. Jean-Pierre, be fun to have you play. Just because you're in Maryland doesn't mean you can't play. So I want us to do this. So let's get thinking about that. And if you've got a little bit of money laying around, friends, it would be nice to put that money, Bishop's Fund over 100,000, so that we then give away $200,000, which is significant money, friends. So Wednesday evening, completely different. Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, Slumdog Millionaire, watching movies with the Bishop. I don't know what else you guys are doing, but how could you not want to do that? You all. Hey, Ellen Evevag, speak so you can come back up on our screen, friend.
Hello, I'm back.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For having me.
So, and all of her PowerPoint should be sitting in your emails at this point. So,
Thanks.
there you go. And let's pray. And Ron Bird, you want to pray us out? You still here, Ron?
I am still here. Thank you, Bishop. I was on my way, though, I can tell you. But thank
I know how these things work. I used to be one of you.
Let us pray. Great and glorious God, we bless you and give you thanks for your goodness, your grace, and your favor. We thank you for standing with us and being with us in this time of challenge and difficulty as we engage COVID-19. Lord, we know you are capable and able and will bring us through this. Continue to let our faith be strong, our resilience high, and our work bring glory to you. Bless our bishop in her efforts and her work, and to continue to strengthen her and all the clergy and the laity of this diocese. Keep us strong, and let us continue to remember that we are in this together, this and in all your works. May all that we say and all that we continue to do bring glory to your name. It is in your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Ron, thank you very much. All of you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you very, very much. And Ellen, yay again. Be safe, guys.
Thank you for being to us.
Text me if you need me, okay? Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.